Relationships that build wealth, create opportunities, the right solutions. That's what we do at J&N Fund Managers.
We're in pursuit of your financial security.
Portfolio and investment management services for individuals and corporate clients, from wealth building and risk management to preparing for a comfortable retirement. Strong, stable, secure.
We're in pursuit of your success.
Let's talk. J&N Fund Managers, your safer, smarter financial partner.
All right, a very pleasant morning and welcome once again to the feature, Your Goals Realized, brought to you by J&N Fund Managers Limited. I am Nadine Blair and welcome. I missed you last week.
Good morning, Nadine. Good morning to our JNFM and Love 101 family. We missed you too, Nadine, but you were quite ably represented, by Joseph.
Big up, Joseph, big up. All right, well, I hear that he did well, and I'm very happy. Did he do his homework? Did he, detention, anything? Nothing? Everything was all right?
He did very well, Nadine. He did very well. He absconded with the homework, but not to worry. We'll get to him next time around.
Okay.
So last week, Haley and I wrapped up the series on successfully managing job redundancies. This week, we're moving into an entirely different direction. This subject is so important that I'd advise all parents-to-be, godparents, grandparents, and even more bright young ones to listen. We're going to talk about preparing to finance your child's tertiary education. We all, Nadine, know the importance of continuing education after high school in these times, and we know the cost is prohibitive to most of us if we really do not plan. Very few of us can afford to send our children to any institution after high school without preparing for it well in advance. And we want to give them the best chance to fulfill their dreams. We have been with them all the way, Nadine. We encouraged them through GSAT, we encouraged them through CSEC, and we have to be there for them for the next phase of their life. So Peter Gay is going to take us through how we can achieve this very important milestone.
All right, Peter Gay, let's hear it now.
Thanks, Nadine, and good morning to our listeners. Now, Jane FM's research, it shows that a very high percentage of us have an interest in preparing to finance our children's education. Surprisingly, though, the request for information doesn't only come from parents. It comes from aunts, uncles, older siblings, cousins. But what's clear is that we as Jamaicans, we fully appreciate the power of formal education. So listeners, please make notes, jot down your questions, and contact us after the program. All right? But let's begin. When we look at it, Nadine, the average cost of a child's education is scary for many parents. And the thought of our children going to university can be very daunting. But don't despair, because we can do it.
Proper planning.
Yeah. Right. So we need to start saving as much as we can, as soon as we can. Mm-hmm. Now, over long periods of time, thanks to the magic of compounding interest, even small amounts that we save, it can create a significant amount which can go some way to meeting our higher education costs. The longer we have before we need to access the pot of money, the more calculated risk we can afford to take. Now, as we get closer to the date when we need that money, we can even realign our investment and plan accordingly. Right? Now, parents, guardians like myself, loved ones who have between 5 and 18 years to accumulate the funds, we can consider using unit trusts, or we can use other forms of pooled investments. And some of those options we went through before. Mm-hmm. Now, if you're looking to save for 10 years or more, we should consider something like the stock market, because these investments, they have historically produced better returns over long periods than our regular savings accounts. Right? However, Nadine, the reality is that there are several costs that are combined to create the final cost for college for a semester.
Just one semester.
Just a semester. But we're here to break it down for our parents this morning and our guardians. Now, some of them that you have to look at, it's tuition. If your child will be boarding, room and board, right? We're looking at fees, all the fees, the attendant costs, books, travel, miscellaneous, and other course expenses, because within the course expenses you have
things come
exactly.
up, right.
Now we're going to look at the numbers, right, so that we can all get a feel of what the costs look like today and for the future. And you know what this will also do, Nadine? It will also emphasize the fact that we really need to start now.
No, right.
Now, many of our children went through GSAT just the other day, and they're looking to go into high school. Now, some of the things we need to take into consideration. A child who has just passed GSAT, they have 6 years until college. Now, they will be estimated 4 years in college, give or take. And the number of years for inflation adjustment is 6 years, because they have 6 years until they get to university. The estimated, and this is an estimated figure, annual inflation rate between now and the end of their education, we're looking at 8%. The estimated annual college cost today is roughly 2.8 million Jamaican,
Praise the Lord.
and on the lower scale, 25,000 US. Right? Now, estimated annual cost of college adjusted for inflation is 4,582,100. For the US, 39,000. Now, the adjusted estimate of the total cost over the entire 4 years, ready for this? No. It's 18.3 million Jamaican and 158,000 US dollars.
But you're saying it can be done.
It can be done.
All right. How can it be done?
Well, for a fact, as we said, you have to start
now. Right.
What parents can also look at, if you have property, right? We have loans that we can look forward to and so forth. And let's say that you have current savings. Let's not touch those funds. Let's leave them in the bank so that they can go towards the future education. Remember that figure we just quoted? $18.3 million. Right? Now, some of the options we can look to. We can look at scholarships. A lot of us, we have brilliant children.
And there's so many scholarships out there
They
that are
are
untouched.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But knowledge is key.
Right.
So it's for us to find out exactly what type of scholarships are available and where we can access them. Right? Now, the scholarships are normally offered by schools, local community organizations, private institutions, and there are a few scholarships by the government. Right? Now, some of them don't have to be repaid, and they're generally awarded based on some specific criterias. But if we work with our children from the get-go, I'm sure they can get the scholarships. And if we start now,
yes.
right, something we can research and look at to see exactly what criterias are needed so that we, as well as our children, can benefit from it.
And the saving thing too, put down a little bit and don't say, Lord, this is not enough. But put down a little bit over time and lock your eye.
Exactly.
Indeed. All right.
We can also look in investing in a unit trust. But some of these options we will go through and share for next week's program. So we'll go in depth in another scenario and how much it is we need to invest towards our future for our children. For children who are maybe just being born, you're planning for a child. Plan for their education as well.
Okay. Well, when you look at what is happening, the classrooms are still full. So parents are, making it happen. We are a resourceful set of people, don't it?
Resourceful we are, Nadine, indeed. And believe it or not, as a general rule, as Jamaicans, we plan. Most of us have our priorities right, and whatever it takes, we will achieve these goals. However, with the information that Peter Gay has just shared, along with what we will be sharing next week, we can actualize these goals more effectively and with less stress. We know it was a lot to take in. So as usual, this program will be available on the Jane Fund Managers Facebook page by afternoon. Also, we have a few articles on our website which will support much of what we have discussed this morning.
All right. Well, we thank you so much. And as was mentioned last week and always, listeners who have questions and comments can send them to 8772, 877-2612. You got to break it up correctly. 877-2612, or email jnfundmanagers@jnbs.com. So any homework, Dolores?
Well, for parents looking to enter into high school, what I want you to do this week as you prepare for September, start looking at what do you need to do to prepare for moving into university if you have not yet done so. And once you do that, next week we'll break it down further as to what the cost can be, and most importantly, how we at Jane Fund Managers can help you to get to that place where you need to be. Thank you all.
I'm going to ask you again because I want to make sure I heard correctly. Parents who have kids who are going into high school should now begin to look at college.
As a matter of fact, Nadine, we suggest that once the child is born, you start looking. You start planning. But if you have not started yet and the children are going into high school, the figure shows that if the child is just going, you will need at least $18 million with adjustment for inflation and everything. You'll need $2 million for today. You'll need $18 million at that time.
Lord,
and that's no feat for a parent. So let's do it. It can be done.
One stone at
Let's
a
help
time.
to prepare them.
There you go. Thank you very much, Dolores and Peter Gay, for sharing. You've been listening to Your Goals Realized right here inside the program Your Goals Realized, brought to you by JN Fund Managers Limited. Keep it locked. This is Love 101.